Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me this beautiful, beautiful day. I wanted to start out with a simple question. How many of you already have a course? If you already have a course, you've got a workshop, you have a coaching program, or years of experience, definitely let me know down in the comments. If you have years of experience that you know could help organizations. All right. But maybe you're still wondering, how do I actually find the companies that need what I already have? If you're already asking that question, go ahead and put it down in the comments section. I want to challenge something that almost every expert has been taught. Okay. You've been taught to create more content, post more on LinkedIn. All right. That's what you've been sort of conditioned to do. Build a bigger email list, create another lead magnet, or improve your sales page, build another course, right? But what if none of those things are actually the biggest problem? That's what I want to challenge you with this morning. What if the real problem isn't your content? What if it's that you're talking to the wrong organizations at the wrong time, or not talking to them at all, hoping that they'll tell you what they need? People sometimes hear me talk about organizational signals and assume that this is some brand new idea. All right. It isn't. I can't claim that. Actually, the idea of making data informed decisions has existed for decades. Businesses have always studied evidence before making important decisions. They watch competitors, they watch and study market trends, they monitor technology, right? And you may have even heard of this. They evaluate workforce changes. They pay attention to regulations. This is something that all businesses do, and so should you. They do things like analyze economic conditions, right? Why do they do this? They do this because successful organizations and entrepreneurs understand that change leaves evidence. Success leaves clues, and evidence helps you make better decisions about your own business. Business schools teach this. Organizations like Deloitte, McKinsey, Bain, Gartner, they all have built entire business practices around helping organizations and entrepreneurs understand change so that they can make smarter strategic decisions. They don't make recommendations based on opinions or popular beliefs or trends. They look for patterns that are supported by evidence. For me, this way of thinking started a long time ago, long before I ever started working in learning and development. My very first career was in journalism. And some of you all may even know this because you may have been following me for a while. I used to be a journalist. I couldn't publish opinions and call them facts, right? I had to actually investigate. I interviewed people, I verified information, right? Or my publisher would have gotten me, all right? I looked for patterns and connected facts. I couldn't just say, well, I think this or I think that. I had to be able to tell an accurate story based on evidence. And looking back now, I realize something, okay? My career has always been about the same thing, using evidence to understand what's really and truly happening before deciding what to do next. And that mindset stayed with me throughout the years. And later, while earning my master's in business at the University of Florida, I learned something that reinforced what journalism had already taught me all those years before, that organizations don't succeed because they react quickly, right? As entrepreneurs, we always want to be fast, fast, fast. But real businesses succeed because they recognize meaningful change early enough to make better decisions. That concept is known as environmental scanning, and it's been part of strategic business planning for decades, right? It's not new. No matter what industry you're in or what niche you're in, organizations and businesses have always had to pay attention to what's changing around them because today's changes often shape tomorrow's priorities, right? Then I spent more than 20 years at the intersection of organizational change and learning after my career in journalism. And during that time, I had the opportunity to support organizations like Walmart, Verizon, Uber Eats, Ocean Spray, the federal government, agencies, nonprofit schools, and so many others. And over time, I noticed something that I had learned years before. Organizations almost never announce. They never say, we're looking for leadership training. They're not going to post over on LinkedIn saying who has an AI course, who has a digital integration program. They typically don't publish. They're looking for, someone who's teaching communications, but they're not going to advertise it. That's simply not how organizations communicate the challenges that they're having. They don't do it that way publicly. Instead, what they do is they communicate through change, right? Things that are changing in their business. They're going to communicate through announcement of a merger, a leadership transition, or a major expansion, even rapid hiring or layoffs. All of these are signals, right? They might even announce a technology investment or a new strategic initiative, a grant award, restructuring. See, most people read those as just announcements, as business news. But those who know and are in the know start asking a different question. They start asking, what does this change tell us about the challenge that this business may be preparing to solve? Then, something clicked. Maybe you've been asking the wrong question. See, most experts and consultants and course creators ask, who needs my course? Who can I sell my course to? But after years of studying organizational change, I realized that the better question is this: which organizations and companies are experiencing changes that make my expertise more relevant right now, today? That single question changes everything. Think about it. Companies already have the infrastructure. They already have employees. They already have managers. They already have departments. They already have budgets. They've already got these things. They have projects that they already have in the pipeline and business objectives that they've already shared with their employees. They're not looking to buy another course. They're trying to solve business challenges. And that's what I want you to take away today. And those challenges often become visible through organizational change. Write this down. See, that's why timing matters. When enough change builds inside of an organization, eventually it bubbles over and becomes public. It becomes public in the form of a press release, a hiring announcement, a LinkedIn post, a news article, an executive interview. a funding announcement. Mhm. See, these aren't training requests. That is not how they're going to do it publicly. They're evidence that something inside the organization is changing. And when organizations change, their capability needs to change as well. That's why the capacity builder intelligence methodology exists, not to predict the future, not to guarantee who's going to buy your course today, because quite frankly, nobody knows that. But it's to help consultants stop guessing where to focus. Because I don't believe that the biggest problem today is creating another course. You can do that. Okay? You can turn on ChatGPT today and get it done. At least something. I think most experts have valuable intellectual property. You already have expertise. You already have experience. What you don't have is a clear strategy for where that expertise fits in today's market today. So there's a process around that idea. And we start with your intellectual property, your course, your training, but you're already teaching people, not somebody else's, yours, your framework. Then we identify the organizations experiencing that kinds of changes that matter to your expertise. Then we identify where your expertise is most relevant. We prioritize the opportunities that deserve your attention so that you're not waking up every day wasting time. And finally, we help you start in the right direction with the right conversations. You don't pitch your course in the DMs. No. But you demonstrate that you understand the business challenge that organizations are navigating. That is a very different conversation. That's a grown-up conversation. That's a mature business conversation, which is what they're looking for. Imagine what would change if instead of wondering who might need my expertise, what if you knew which organizations and companies were becoming more relevant because of the changes they were already experiencing? How much time would you save? Instead of wasting time going through needles in a haystack on LinkedIn, how many fewer cold messages would you send? I know you're using AI, but what a headache. How much more confident would you have walking into conversations? See, after the AI and the cold call, you got to actually talk to somebody. That's exactly why I created my upcoming workshop. Because, see, even if you use AI, that doesn't mean that you know how to have these conversations once you get in the door, if you get in the door. I'm going to show you real organizational examples. You're going to learn how to recognize the kind of changes that matter and that you should be paying attention to. And most importantly, you're going to be able to look at your own expertise through an entirely different lens than what you've been doing. Not asking, who needs my course? Because, see, that's going to keep you in the consumer sector. That's going to keep you stuck there. No, what you want to do is ask, where does my expertise create the greatest value right now? Because I truly believe that you don't need more expertise. You don't. You don't need another degree. You don't need another module. You don't need a better course. You need a better course of action. So I hope that you'll join me on August 22nd. It's a Saturday, so that you could actually have time to join me. And what we're going to do is do exactly what I just said. We're going to look at your own expertise. I don't want you thinking that you have to rebuild Rome. You don't. You have spent the last 10, 20, or even 30 years building your expertise. You have something that businesses, companies, agencies need. You know that. You know it. But now you got to figure out where to place it, where to go with it, so that you're not looking at a blank screen, so that you're not scrolling on LinkedIn aimlessly with no plan, no strategy. And even if you do get their attention, what are you going to say? How do you position it? If you're thinking, "Oh, I'm just going to lead with my course. I'm going to tell them about my course. I'm going to tell them about my training." They're not interested right now. No, what they're interested in is, do you understand the business challenges that they have right now? They're not going to tell you. They don't know you like that. They're expecting you to put the pieces of the facts together to tell a story, so that when you talk to them, you're coming from a place of knowing, of intelligence, not whether or not you're smart. I'm talking about intellectual intelligence, facts, that kind of intelligence. What intelligence have you put together to build the story, the narrative, and to be able to position your intellectual property inside of their organization exactly where it needs to be? Okay. So that is what we're doing on August 22nd. Okay. Go ahead. You can click the link around this video to see how to join us. Okay. And I want to answer any questions that you all might have. Okay. Go ahead and drop any questions that you have, whether or not you're watching this on YT, whether you're watching this on FB, wherever it is that you are tuning in from. Okay. And I'm going to hang out here for just a little while to take any of your questions. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay, I see your question, Aida, over on YT, and you're asking, I thought I had to rebuild my whole course for businesses. Now I see I don't. Yeah, you're right. You do not have to rebuild your entire course. You don't. What I want you to do is I want you to take your current intellectual property that you already have. Okay. I want you to take that and use that as the foundation of where you are going to focus. Okay. That's what you're going to do. You don't have to rebuild Rome. You've already spent the time, money, energy, effort. Now you have to put together the narrative and analyze it and use data to tell you where your course fits inside of organizations and what type of organizations. But you want to go even deeper. You don't want to just say, "Oh, I think the healthcare agents industry needs what I have." No, you don't want to say, "Oh, I think that the finance industry needs what I have," or something like that. No, you want to pinpoint the changes, right, that are happening inside of an individual organization. That way, you have a list in front of you already of organizations that need what you have, right? So I see you, Inspiration Daily. I thought I had to rebuild. No, you do not have to rebuild your entire course, your entire program. That's what I want you to take away from this. Okay. Do you already so let me know. Tell me what your course, what your program is already about. Go ahead and put it in the chat for me. What is your course about? What is your program about? Tell me now. You can put it down in the chat. Hi, FB. I see you. I see you, FB. Tell me what your program is, what you focus on. You do not have to rebuild your course. And if you don't have a course already, right? Let's just say you got an idea for a course, you got an idea for a program. That's perfectly fine. Okay? If you already have an idea and you want to say, hey, should I invest the time, the money, the energy, my resources into building this course? If I build, should I even build this course? That's another question, right? Because even if you decide, which I hope you don't, but whatever, even if you decide that I'm just going to use AI to build it, the question becomes, does does the marketplace really need this and want this right now? Who wants it? Who needs it before I spend money on it? That right there is gold in and of itself, because time and energy is something that you don't have that can be renewable. So you need to know, hey, is it worth my time and energy to even build this course? That's valuable. That is valuable. And that's what we're doing on August 22nd. We're going to take what you have and we're going to analyze together. We're going to look at it together and we're going to say, hey, what should I do? Where should I go? I know I want to, I know that I want to um, sell my courses or offer my programs, my training to businesses, to companies, to agencies, to schools, even, right? I know that I want to do that, but I don't know if it's going to be successful. I don't know if I should do it. I don't know if I should spend the time, energy, money, effort. I don't know if I should do that. Um, you know, I don't know if I should. Let's talk about it. Let's analyze it. Instead of just thinking I should, or maybe I should, or maybe I shouldn't, why don't we use the data to analyze it? Now, could you just throw it into ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, does anybody need my course on communication, or what businesses need my leadership training program, or should I build a leadership course? You know what chat's going to tell you? Chat is going to say, absolutely, do it. And you're going to say, oh, that's exciting. Chat told me yes. Mm-hmm. But then you're going to go back a couple minutes later and say, chat, I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I'm not going to do a course on leadership. I'm going to do my course on communication. Is that a good idea? You know what chat's going to say? Absolutely. Absolutely. And you say, "Oh, well, that okay, that sounds like, I guess it could be a good idea too." All right, let me ask Chat again. All right, Chat, I'm going to create a course on presentation skills. Should I do that? Should I sell that to companies and businesses? And Chat's going to say, "You know what? You know what? On the second, third hand, that is where you should really focus. Like that right there is the answer to all your problems." And now you've got Pat telling you that you've got 1, 2, 3 million dollar ideas. And now you're stuck again because you're trying to figure out, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Are all of these things true? I know more than one thing can be true at one time, but is this true? Is it true that I can, do all three things? Which one should I start with, Chat? Mm, Chat is going to tell you Chat's idea. And you don't even know if that is, makes sense for you. And now you're stuck again. I see you, Inspiration Daily, right? Now you stuck again. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Because one thing that chat cannot do is tell you what to do. Hello? Chat cannot tell. Chat can give you plenty of ideas. Chat is very good for brainstorming. Very good for brainstorming. It cannot tell you at the end and beginning of the day what to do. It cannot guarantee that what it comes up with is the truth. If that were true, why isn't everybody a million gazillionaire? Why isn't everybody a gazillionaire right now? Why? Elon Musk. Why? He's a trillionaire, but it's not because he sits up every day asking chat what to do. Doesn't that sound ridiculous? No. He's a gazillion trillionaire because he has amalgamated data. And he has a whole bunch of people analyzing data for ChatGPT. You understand? You understand? ChatGPT is not telling you what decisions to make. That's not how it's built. Because Musk and them not going to have you being a trillionaire too. I'm just a messenger. I'm just a messenger. It's not going to tell you what to do. It's not going to say, based on your expertise, this is where you need to focus right now. This is where you need to go. This is who you need to talk to. And this is how you need to position your program. You got to figure that out on your own. But you don't have to figure it out on your own. I'm going to show you where to focus, how to figure that out. I've been doing this for over 20 years, well before ChatGPT. How did I learn how to do it? Being on the inside of organizations like Uber Eats, Walmart, Verizon, Ocean Spray, and so many more. I've been at that intersection of the decision-making intersectionality of organizational change and learning and development, and those data points that say this is where we need to focus. This is the help we need. This is what we need to do. See, the difference between those who get the contract and those who don't is that those who don't just don't know how. They don't know how to read the signs, the signals. They don't even know that they should be looking at the signals. They don't even know that they are signals. They're telling you. They are telling you that we need help. They're telling you we need assistance in this area, but you're not looking at it that way. And you're only looking at one point of data, trying to tell the whole story. When I was a journalist, I couldn't just talk to one person. I couldn't look at one fact, one figure, and say, oh, this is the story. No, I needed at least 3 sources, at least 3 sources to corroborate the idea. At least 3. You can't just look at one and say that's the story. So the capability intelligence framework is not new. It's just new to you. It's not new. It's just new to you. And I'm teaching it to you on August 22nd. I'm teaching it to you on August 22nd. I'm going to put the link down in here. I forgot to bring the link. I got you. How do I join? Hang on one second. I done got so excited about the thing. I done forgot to give you all the actual link so that you could join. How about that? Mm, 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 mm. All right. And I'm going to see if I can actually share my screen to it. I might be able to do that. I might. Let's see if I can. I think I can do it over on, I think I can do it on YT. All right. If you're over on YT, let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. I have pulled up the actual landing page for it, and I'm going to, and let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see the landing page. And it says the problem isn't your course. All right. Y'all can let me know in the comment sections. All right. And I will put I'll put the link to it here. If you're looking, if you're watching this on another platform, not to worry, I will put it in the comment section. All right. Or you guys, please be a community and put it in there for me. All right. But let me know. I'm going to put it here in the chat. Can you see the page? Okay, very good. You can see it. Okay, awesome. All right. So on August 22nd, what are we doing? What are we doing on August 22nd? Okay, on August 22nd, we are going to look at your own intellectual property. Okay, you do not have to build a brand new course. You do not have to restart building a brand new training. The problem isn't your course. It's knowing where to take it next. You're going to see where organizational demand is emerging and understand which opportunities fit your expertise and what to do next. What to do next. Okay. I'm going to walk you through a real intelligence example. Okay. From a public announcement to show you how it works. If you're like, Kat, I see stuff all the time, but I don't know how to interpret it. I don't know how to read it. I don't know how to translate it. I don't know how to corroborate the sources. I don't know how to bring in other sources to see, hey, is this real? Or is this just, I don't know, what is it? I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to teach you the framework. I've been teaching this for a long time inside of organizations. I've been putting this data together. So now I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to look at a real organizational announcement. We're going to look at what changed inside the organization and where you could fit your expertise if you were inside of that particular scenario. We're going to walk through it together. Okay, inside of the workshop on August 22nd. Okay. All right. You can click the link to see how to join us. Okay. So if you ever wonder where your next corporate client is going to come from, right? So you send outreach, you've gotten no response. It's because you don't know how to position it based on where they are right now. I'm going to show you, right, how to actually read it and look at it. So that when you are reaching out to them, even if you're using AI, even if you're using an AI system, okay, to do cold outreach, the reason why it's not working is because you're not positioning it for where they are right now. You're just guessing. You're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks. That's it. We're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore. Okay. Most experts do not realize that the moments that happen in a company that are public information, they don't realize that those moments until the market is already crowded. That is the thing. A lot of times you all do not realize it before it's too late. So what happens is, let me tell y'all what happens. What happens is that many of you are looking to referrals inside of the organizations. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. right? Like if you know somebody who knows somebody who's on the inside of a Google or inside of an organization, and you say, hey, do y'all need some kind of leadership training? Do y'all need this, that, and the third? And your referral might say, oh, listen, I heard that they was going to be looking for leadership training. This might be your time. This might be your time. But here's the problem. Your referral may only have limited information because of their role inside the organization. They might think they know, but they may not actually know. They might not actually have their finger on the pulse. And even if they do, and even if they are able to get you in for an interview, a conversation, even if they are able to do it, guess what? That's only one organization. That's only one company. Your business needs consistent referral. Is that going to happen? Nah, maybe, not for most people. Not for most. For most people, you might get one of your business colleagues, your business bestie, somebody you went to school with who said, hey, I think they're opening bids, or I think they're doing that. That might happen, but that tends to not be consistent. That tends to not be a business strategy that's ongoing. Okay. You have to be your own referral system if you want this to be a real business. You have to read your own signals. You have to get on the inside of these organizations in a way that your referral can't even do. Because even if your referral gets you in, you have to be able to position it yourself. They can't do that for you. Okay? You have to be able to speak to what's happening. And they're not going to tell you. They might tell you in general that, hey, we're looking to maybe increase our capacity in this way or that way, or build capability here or there. They're not going to tell you the ins and outs. That's for you to do. That is for you to do. So that when you go and actually get in these rooms, you are speaking to them from intelligence, data, facts, sources. One of the things, let me tell y'all something. One of the things that came out of Course Connects, those of you all who came to Course Connects back in June here in Atlanta, okay, where I was teaching, or not teaching, but sharing some of these concepts, right? One of the things that the panelists, the decision makers, the check writers, one of the things that they said to the people who were presenting their training to them, one of the things that they said over and over again is, where did you get your data? We like data. We like sources. Put your sources, put your data. That's what they said. They said, where did you get that from? We like going back, and we like cross-referencing the data. We like seeing the data. We like that you understand what's happening, the data. They said it over and over again. This is what they're looking for. They want to know that you have done your homework. And here's the deal. Nowadays, with the tools that are out there, it doesn't even take a long time to do. It doesn't even take a long time to do anymore. But you have to understand the framework, and you have to understand how to actually put the story together, so that when you do go in there, you have your sources, you have your data to back you up. You have your positioning with your program, so that you can say, hey, this is where exactly my program fits into the challenge that you're facing right now. Based on the data and based on the sources, this is what's happening. See, we talked about in Course Connects being a strategic partner. See, this is what we were talking about. See, the panelists that were there, the check writers, the decision makers, the HR folks, you know what they said? They said, we don't want order takers. We want strategic partners. We want somebody that can come into our organization and partner with us. They don't want somebody who's just going to come in and they say, we want a mocha latte and then just make it. No, they want somebody who understands what's happening, and they don't have time to teach you. They don't have time to show you. They don't have time to go through step by step and say, hey, this is what we need. This is what's going on. This is the backstory. This is the flip story. They don't have time for that. They're not going to do it. And quite frankly, they shouldn't have to. That's your job. That's your job. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to walk you through an example so that you are not wasting time every day. So that you are not over on LinkedIn trying to figure out who you can cold DM with, oh, I see we went to the same university. They don't care. I see we both like pickleball. They don't care. I see we both live in Atlanta. They don't care. They don't care. See, what they care about is whether or not your expertise can help them solve this piece of their problem right now. Whether or not you can come with data that supports their need. Right? So what are we going to do August 22nd? We're going to look at what is happening right now. Explore verified organizational changes, emerging capability pressure, and where demand may be building. So no matter what your niche is, it doesn't matter. Bibles or baked goods, it does not matter. Whatever your niche is, leadership, health and wellness, AI, digital integration, it doesn't matter what it is, workforce development. We're going to look at how you look at verified organizational changes. First of all, where you find them, how you look at those verified organizational changes and emerging capability pressure, and where demand is building. See, the ones who know and who are beating you to the punch are the ones who already know how to do this. Yeah, they already know how to do this. They already know how to read the signs. You think everybody has somebody on the inside? They don't. Not everybody has an inside man telling them, hey, it's time for you to come and share your intelligence with us, share your brilliance with us, share all that. No, they're looking and reading the data, the same data that is available to you. You're just not looking at it. You're not looking at it. You're not interpreting it. You're not translating it for your expertise. You're not doing any of that, but they are. So they are able to actually connect with decision makers on a higher elevated level, on a business level, so that they can take you seriously. Okay? So we're going to look at that. Okay? And then we're going to answer the question, what should I do? What should I do with this information? Okay? I'm going to show you that. And then how to execute on it. Positioning, outreach, executive conversations, and your next strategic action. That's what we're going to be going through on August 22nd. Okay? So if you can still see my screen, we're going to go from organizational change to your confident next move. We're going to look at that framework of understanding what change actually happened, what pressure did it create. Okay, so we already know a little bit of physics. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That is science. I didn't make that up. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So, for whatever action is happening inside of that business, that company, that organization, there is a reaction, a force that is taking place as a result. So, we're going to look at that. What pressure did it create? It created some kind of pressure. And because of that pressure, there is now a new capability that is needed. They now need new managers. They now need a wellness program. They now need AI integration. They now need change management. They now need fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. Because of the reaction to the action. Where did the action come from? The action came from a series of events that caused a problem to occur and start building pressure on the business. Either they're losing money. What other kind of pressure? Their customer service scores are low. What other kind of pressure? Their expenses are too high in whatever area. Their production is too low in some areas. Too many people calling out sick. Too many people leaving the company. Now they have to rehire all these people. Pressure. Right? So we got these actions, right? Or lack of action that's causing pressure. That pressure is causing an equal and opposite reaction. And the reaction is, oh my God, we need leadership training. Oh my goodness, we need a wellness program. Oh my gosh, we need somebody to come in and help us to actually integrate all this AI. We need. What do we do to alleviate this pressure? What do we need to get some of this pressure reduced? We need to reduce the pressure. So what do we need? What capability do we need in order to do that? So in order for you to speak to that pressure, you have to understand what it is. You have to recognize it. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to advertise on LinkedIn that they have this kind of internal pressure. Sorry. When you find it, you let me know. They're not going to do that. What they do is they publicly state organizational changes through press releases, through articles, through interviews, through posts from different people within their organizations. Those become your sources. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, where it doesn't take up all your day. And then we're going to look at how do we position it. Okay, so that is what we're doing. Okay, so if you are a course builder, a consultant, a coach, a facilitator, an established expert, you already have a course, or you're wanting to know, should I build this course? You need to be in the class August 22nd. You can see how this works. All right, so that you can stop building more and start deciding better. Decision making. That is what we're doing. Okay, so you might say, well, Kat, how much is this program to understand and learn how this actually works? Okay. You can see right here on the screen, it's a cool 97 bucks. Okay. It's a cool 97 bucks. All right. So if you want to come into the workshop, Signal to Solutions, and learn the decision framework so that you can better position your program, you can join us August 22nd. All right. When we're full, and that's going to be it. Okay. So it is a Saturday. So that way you can make it, hopefully. All right. If you have a 9 to 5 and you're worried about, oh, I've got to get the kids, listen, the kids are going back to school now. So as kids going back to school, you might have to work and those sorts of things. So that is why it is a Saturday workshop. Okay. Saturday. Bring your course idea. All right. And I'm going to actually walk you through the framework, how this works, so that once you leave the workshop, you can go ahead and immediately start applying the framework. Start applying it. Start applying, okay, here's how I recognize pressure. Here's how I understand it. This is what we do. Okay. So, all right, you guys, I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that you have taken something away from this live stream. I hope you took some notes. I'm not sure that I'm keeping this live stream up. I don't know. I might not. It just sort of depends, because I want to make sure that you all are doing this the right way. Okay. So in order to do that, I want to spend some time with you. I want to spend some live time with you. We're going to do that coming up in just a few weeks. All right. So I hope you took some good notes and that sort of thing. All right. All right, you all. I hope that you have an amazing, amazing, amazing rest of your day. Oh, you got it. You got it. You got it. I hope that you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. And we are off to the races. We are off to the races. Okay. We're not throwing spaghetti at the wall anymore to see how it sticks and all the things. Okay. What we are doing is we are conducting ourselves like real business people. We are using data to inform our decisions. Oh, you are welcome. You are so welcome. We're using data to inform our decisions, and we are moving forward with using facts, data, and intelligence. Okay, with your intellectual property, not just throwing stuff at the wall. Okay, we're not doing that anymore. Ain't nobody got time for that, as the young people say. All right. All right, everybody, have an amazing rest of your day. All right. And until next time, y'all stay on course. You're welcome. See you soon.